One, two, three.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Maria Delia, and today we are getting into what to do after a breakup. This video is going to be for folks who are really interested in moving on and getting through this tough time. I have a couple of tips that I feel like will be very fruitful and helpful for you if you are struggling to do this. Alright, jumping right in. So first and foremost, you're going to want to disconnect from this person. And I feel like I say that and a lot of you will automatically think that you have to go and block this person. And I'm not really an advocate for that, because as I've taken the time and I've matured and just understood exactly what it means when I do block someone, I'm essentially saying I don't have or I lack the self-discipline to ignore that person if they were to contact me. Because what happens when that person texts you or calls you from a different number, or what happens when that person gets in contact with you? Like, what do? You know, are you going to have the discipline, the self-discipline to just ignore that person and truthfully stop communicating with that person? Are you? Because that's the strength that you're going to need to truthfully get through this time. And that's the strength that you should be focusing on building when you are truthfully trying to get over someone. The next thing that you're going to focus on doing is spending time alone. You're gonna need to spend time alone for a couple of reasons, and one of those reasons is because you need to spend time figuring out what makes you happy. Because often when we are in a relationship, we spend a lot of time in that cycle or in that period figuring out what works for the both of you. But during this time, it's very important that you focus on what it is that makes you happy and how you existed before this situation even came about. You need to know yourself through and through. And often what you'll find is that you've neglected a part of you. And sometimes that part of you could be as simple as you no longer partake in a certain hobby, or you don't go and play basketball with the guys, or you don't, go and get your nails done like you normally would have, or go and have girls' night like you normally would have, or even just take care of yourself. You don't bubble bath as much as you would have if you were by yourself. And I feel like it's important for you to figure out what those things are that make you happy, because they're going to keep you sane, one, during this period, but they're also going to keep you in a place of wholeness when you do meet your next partner. Speaking of next partners, when I say spend time alone, I mean just that, guys. I definitely don't mean use this as an opportunity to start a situationship or use this as an opportunity to fill a void with other toxicity. That's not what this time is for, okay? Most of the time, this is the period where we start doing codependent things, where we start to pick up on our codependent patterns, or we start to give rise to them. This is not that. We should not be focusing our energy on people or things to fill the void that we feel. The only person that can fill that void is you. So that's why it's important that you spend the time to get to know yourself all over again as one, not as someone who exists in a partnership. And also, shameless plug, this is not a time for you to go and fill that void with your friends, okay? Yes, I say get to know yourself and remember what it is that you used to do to make you happy, and sometimes that means spending more time with your friends, but you don't want to use your friends as a clutch to fill that void or that emptiness or that loneliness that you feel, because again, the only person that can fill that loneliness or that void is you. So you have to keep that in mind, Okay, so now that you have disconnected and you've distanced yourself and you're taking the time to get to know yourself and you're spending those moments alone and taking those long bubble baths or whatever it is that you do to self-care, taking whatever time and space that you need to truthfully just remember how great of a person you were before the situation. Once you've done that, you're also going to start incorporating some time to reflect. Now, I feel like it's important to say it out loud, to say that you need to reflect out loud, because a lot of times people group just spending time alone and saying, hey, well, I've been single for a year or 2 years and I think I'm ready to, get back in there. But the truth of the matter is, if during those 2 years you haven't taken the time to reflect and get to know why you left the past situation, then you're just jumping into the new situation with all that old baggage. Going back to Erykah Badu, no one likes a bag lady, okay? So you want to spend this time reflecting and getting to know what is actually in those bags. deal with that trauma and take that time truthfully to heal. So some focal points that you might want to keep in mind when it comes to reflecting. You don't want to just reflect on the bad things that this guy or gal has done to you in the past relationship. You also want to focus on the good things that they did. What you're going to be able to do after this reflection period is start to mold and have an idea of what exactly you do want in your next part. It's also important that you don't spend this time focusing on all of the bad things that they did to you, because we're human, okay? There's probably something that you did that added to the situation. And no shade, you know, we've all been there, but it's very important that not only you think about what that person did to hurt you, but also what things that you did to add to the situation or hurt the situation more. Were you being toxic as well? I mean, are there some behaviors that you don't want to take into your next relationship? These are the things that you want to focus on and think about when you are reflecting on what's just happened. You're going to want to do those things, okay? I know they're tough, but they're necessary. And then lastly, after you've really taken the time to reflect, you've taken the time to get to know yourself, you're happy, you know what I mean? You're not coming into a situation half broken, you're coming whole, and you're ready to date again. This is when you get to have a little fun with it. You get to think about all the things that you want your next partner to have. Yes, in that reflection period, you spent time thinking about all the red flags that you may have missed or just chose to ignore. But now you're able to take those red flags and keep them in mind when you're dating these, you know, new individuals or new candidates. You want to think about those things and create some standards for yourself. You don't want to just go into the next situation and say, okay, well, I didn't like this and I didn't like that, but then find yourself in another situation where you were dealing with the same things that you said that you didn't like prior. Like, you definitely want to make sure that you are assessing the folks that you are dealing with, and the only way that you can do that is if you create a list of standards, or keep in mind a list of standards that you want to keep to and keep it pushing that way. Now, I said red flags a lot, but you should also keep in mind some green flags, because a lot of the times we focus on what we don't like about someone or about something or what we won't tolerate in the next situation, but a lot of the times we don't focus on what we would like or what we do like, you know? So you also want to know what it is that you do like and all the things that you do want in a partner when you do start to date again. Because now that you are whole, you should have an idea, okay? You should have an idea of what it takes to unconditionally love you. Now that you've spent the time to reflect and love on yourself and make yourself happy, you should have a great idea actually of what it's going to take to love you unconditionally and love you successfully, okay? And that's what you should keep in mind when you are looking for your next partner. All right, guys, and that's really all I have for this. I know that's not a lot of steps and it's not a lot of tips, but really the meat and potatoes of it all is that you just spend time to truthfully get to know you and reflect on yourself and what you need going forward. And you spend the time truthfully being happy, you know, with yourself. This period can take months, it can take years, but just be patient with yourself through all of it, because I'm, you know, a romantic myself. I do believe the true love that you're searching for is out there. It just takes a little bit of patience with yourself and others in the meantime. So, all right, guys, until next time, peace.